I probably run the smallest market cap company at this conference. Kopore is an ASX listed company, and based on trading last night, our market cap is about 2 million Aussie dollars. So in pound terms, it's about £1 million, which is crazy because, as it says there, and it's easy to use these large terms, but we have a very large land holding in the highly prospective Kalahari Belt in southern Africa, which runs between Botswana and Namibia. We really do have a district scale land package. We've had multiple copper occurrences without finding a copper deposit yet, but the upside and the torque to the north here is incredible, and we're very excited about the opportunity. That photograph, before I move on, is the last hole we drilled, which was about 4 weeks ago, and we announced our assay results from that hole on Monday, and I'll cover that a bit. But as you can see there, this is in the far east of Namibia. This is farm country, it's flat, it's pretty easy to access. As I said, we have a very, very large land package, totalling today 14,813 square kilometres, which is, to be frank, an incredibly large land package when you have a small market cap and inability to raise enormous amounts of money. So we're kind of putting one foot in front of the other at the moment and trying to make the most of our treasury and put most of the dollars into the ground. So putting that in perspective, this company does not have an office. I don't pay rent for an office. I don't have a parking spot. I don't have an assistant. It's all run out of my briefcase, and we'll go wherever we need to go to run the company. Everybody else who's involved here is a consultant or a contractor that can be turned on or off as money and time permits. I'm the only employee of Kopore. In summary, as I said, though, district scale land package, I can't stress that enough, and I'll show you a map in a moment, which is really the key to the story. We have intercepted copper and silver on the footwall contact position, which is the key in the Kalahari Belt, and I'd ask you to remember that when I go to the map in a minute. We have numerous under or unexplored targets. In a lot of places here, drill spacing is measured in the tens of kilometres, not the hundreds of metres, so it's very, very underexplored and under-drilled. As I mentioned before, we have multiple copper occurrences in numerous targets. And there is a lot of momentum on the Kalahari Belt at the moment, and many of you will be familiar with Kopore Canyon, which is a private company who are in construction on the belt. And a few weeks ago, Sandfire, which is a plus $1 billion market cap Australian company, completed a couple of $100 million acquisition of another Australian company called Mod Resources, substantially for their T3 deposit, which is also on the belt. One of the previous presenters talked about Australian companies and their corporate structure. So not to disappoint, we have 642 million shares on issue and a market cap that, depending on the day, is in the $2 to $3 million range. Not very much cash in the bank, and really, at the end of the day, trading pretty close to a shell value, which I guess if you put that a different way, means that the market is valuing our 15,000 odd square kilometres of the Kalahari Belt at practically zero. So what normally happens when your market cap approaches shell value is you start going out and looking for other assets. Well, we are certainly not in that mode. We find it staggering that the market wants to value our project at zero. So we certainly see plenty of upside from there. And us and our shareholders are aligned, and we're going to continue to explore this property and add that value as quickly as possible. So the key to the story, and I'm going to spend the majority of the remaining 5 minutes on the map. This is a map of the Kalahari Belt as it relates to us. The dotted line that comes from the top down and then does a right angle there is the border between Namibia and Botswana. To put this in perspective, the blue licences here, they're the licences that are held by Kopore Canyon. So for those of you who don't know, Kopore is a private company, an American company, and they are currently in construction at the Zone 5 deposit. It is fully funded. They have raised $650 million US to build that mine. Roughly a third between private equity money from the old bark cap guys here in London, GNRI. Roughly a third is in debt, and they also sold a plus $200 million silver stream to Royal Gold. So there's real money going into this project. Notably, they also awarded an $800 million Aussie dollar underground mining contractor to Barminco, which is a sub of Parenti. This is a significant project with significant dollars and the right people involved. And construction is underway. It's in progress at the moment, and Zone 5 will be the first commercial mine on the belt. So moving down to the southwest, the orange coloured licences here is Sandfire, which is the old Mod Resources ground. That takeover was completed on the 23rd of October. So we welcome Sandfire as our neighbours in the belt and look forward to them making a production and development decision on the T3 project. And you can see there, the pink licences here is our licence package. Remembering, Sandfire is $1 billion plus market cap. Kubrick of spending $600 odd million on theirs. We've got a $2 million market cap, and we've got a significant position on the belt. And if I was to extend the mine down to the southwest further, the next big landholder there, which got their licences awarded last week, is Rio Tinto with a similar size landholding. So we think we're in the right place. Now, the last 5 holes we've drilled all in Namibia. You can see the names there. We've drilled in the Kembo, the Ongava and the Otjari targets. We've just drilled a couple of holes in each. The last 5 holes that we have drilled have had copper in the hole, not 20 metres at 2%. We haven't made a discovery. Don't worry, you haven't missed it. But we've got copper in all of those holes. And the last hole which we drilled, which I showed you the picture of earlier, which we released on Monday, was a couple of metres at 0.5% copper and notably 66 grams silver. So importantly though, and I mentioned the contact here between 2 different rock types, the big deposits up the way at Zone 5 and at T3 sit on or near the contact between the Dakar Formation and the Naguaco Pan Formation. That is the key to exploration in the belt, and I'm happy to report that the last 2 holes that we have drilled at the Kembo Dome, which is where we had that copper intercept, we have hit the contact for the first time. Companies probably drilled 30 holes over time, and we've hit the contact in the last 2 holes we've drilled, and we've hit copper in the last 5 holes we've drilled. So we're really honing in now on what we need to do. Next steps for us will be to fly some airborne EM in the Namibian part of our asset portfolio. There hasn't been any airborne geophysics done there in the past. We've done some ground-based geophysics, but it's time to do some airborne. That will help us target in the next round of drilling in Namibia. And one other thing to leave you with in terms of future work, you'll see the pink licences up there near Zone 5. We are just in the final throes of getting our environmental permitting on those licences. We're in the public consultation period at the moment. I expect to get the environmental clearance on those this year, and we have walk-up drill targets right next to where Kubrick are spending their money building a mine. So the program for next year, airborne EM in Namibia, followed by some more drilling on the targets in Namibia, plus some drilling up there at what we call the Virgo licences near to Kubrick. So to sum up in my final 40 seconds, it's quite an unusual opportunity here. Valuation on this company is really, really low. New management, i.e. me, I've been involved for 6 months. We've got a very, very strong, enviable land position on the Kalahari Belt. Our neighbours are Rio Tinto and Sandfire, who have slightly larger market caps than us. This is a ground floor opportunity to get into the exciting belt. Thanks for sticking it out to the end, and we'll see you in Cape Town.